This past season, Tavion Thomas set the Utah single-season record with 21 rushing touchdowns. He was named to the Pac-12's All-First team as arguably the best running back in the entire conference. Although he was considered one of the best in the entire Pac-12, Tavion Thomas wasn't even sure if he would ever play football again. Just months before the season began, he was living in his own car back in Ohio. His football season had been cut short due to COVID the previous year, and after being one of the top running back recruits out of high school, he honestly thought his football career was over. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. On October 16th of 2021, Tavion Thomas rushed for just under 100 yards with a rushing touchdown against Arizona State. The following morning, he tweeted this: "It's crazy how just a few months ago, I was just sleeping in my car, watching college football on my cell phone, wishing I could get another shot to play the game that I love. Don't give up on your goals and dreams, even when you don't see the light. At the moment, God has a plan." A few months prior to him making that tweet, he was parked in his car in Dayton, Ohio. He didn't even have his own bed to sleep in. He didn't have a home. Tavion Thomas was temporarily homeless. He was living with his 1-year-old son in his car, a red 2008 Chevy Malibu, that he parked in various spots around Dayton and Kettering at night. Here's what Tavion Thomas had to say in an article in the Dayton Daily News. "It was tough. I was out there in the dark, feeling alone. Right then, I was wishing I had been patient and just stayed at Cincinnati. But that was done, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought my football career was over. To be honest, I never saw any of this coming. I had some people that were helping me, giving me some money and some food. They told me to keep positive thoughts and fight through adversity. It was heavy on me. It was hard at the time, but I knew why. I thank my JUCO coach for letting me go there. Everything changed from there. I picked the football back up, and it was the best choice I made." But there was a time when Tavion Thomas had serious doubts in regards to his football career. No teams were recruiting him after just a 4-game junior college season that was impacted by COVID-19. Fast forward a year, and he turned into the best running back in the entire Pac-12. So how exactly did Tavion Thomas get to this point? Growing up, Thomas didn't know his dad. His mom struggled with various problems on the street. He said that she was evicted from their house and that the children's services took him and his siblings away on a couple occasions and eventually split them up. Eventually, he said his mom moved to Minnesota to get a fresh start. So for a while, Tavion lived with his aunt and uncle, who went on college visits with him. Thomas attended Dunbar High School in Ohio. He was named to the Ohio Prep Sports Writers Association first team All-Ohio while as a senior. He had 1,600 rushing yards and 24 touchdowns during his senior campaign. The year prior, when he was a junior, he was named the Southwestern Ohio Public League Offensive Player of the Year. Thomas was viewed as a top 20 running back recruit in the nation and was recruited by Ohio State. However, the Buckeyes were concerned about his academic standing and wanted to send him to a junior college first. But Thomas balked at the idea and eventually committed to Oklahoma. But the Sooners wanted him to go the JUCO route as well, so he decommitted. He ended up getting his grades up and ended up signing with Cincinnati. As a freshman with the Bearcats, he was the number 2 option in the backfield and rushed for 500 yards with 6 touchdowns. The following season, he sat out the first game against UCLA for an undisclosed violation of team rules. Then, he played in 4 games, gaining 200 yards while scoring 1 touchdown. When he went to Cincinnati, he wasn't mature enough and got in a little trouble here and there, said his former high school head coach. It was nothing major, but he'd end up sitting for half or part of a half. Then he might mess up in practice, so he kind of stayed in the doghouse. After Thomas played in just 4 games that 2019 season, Bearcats coach Luke Fickell said that he would be redshirting. Thomas then took to Twitter, announcing that he'd be leaving Cincinnati and entering the transfer portal. "Salty that it had to come to this, but I will be transferring from the University of Cincinnati. I appreciate the love and support that y'all gave me while I was here." Thomas ended up at Independence Community College in Kansas, which gained fame on Netflix in a 2-season run of the popular docu-series Last Chance U. His season at Independence was impacted by COVID, and the school played its games in the spring. He gained 350 yards and scored 5 touchdowns in 4 games, but Thomas was sent home for an undisclosed reason. It was after that release that Tavion Thomas returned to Dayton and found himself with no place to go. So some nights he had to sleep in his car. I believe all of this happened for a reason. I think I needed to go that route and be humble to get me right. I had to learn to appreciate what I had. A few schools showed interest in him, especially UAB, but Thomas had his sights set on Utah. He managed to contact former Utes running back Zach Moss, who is the school's all-time leading rusher and is currently on the Buffalo Bills. Moss was able to get him in contact with the coaches on Utah. They watched his film and liked what they saw, but they didn't have room for another running back at the time. Tavion Thomas stayed in contact with the coaches, including running backs coach Keel McDonald, and a spot eventually opened up and Thomas arrived in Salt Lake City. Tavion Thomas worked his way up the depth chart, but things didn't go smoothly at first for him. He reported to fall camp overweight and had to work to shed about 10 pounds. In Utah's season opener, he rushed for 100 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns, but he fumbled, including a fumble the previous week, which lost him significant playing time. Over the next 2 games, Thomas would have only a total of 2 carries. Although he was given a brand new opportunity, it looked as if it would slip away from him after an awful first impression. Coaches worked with him on everything from ball security to pass protection and blitz pickup, and this time he embraced what he was being told. After spending a few games in the doghouse, Thomas was given another chance against USC. Well, he sure took advantage of it as he rushed for 110 yards with a rushing touchdown. It was at this point in which Tavion Thomas turned into one of the best running backs in the entire country. In the following game against Arizona State, he rushed for under 100 yards with a rushing touchdown. The following week against Oregon State, he rushed for 75 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. Then his career game came against UCLA when he rushed for 160 yards with 4 rushing touchdowns, earning him Pac-12's Offensive Player of the Week honors. Thomas managed to outdo himself as the following week against Stanford, he rushed for a career-high 180 yards on 20 carries while scoring 4 touchdowns. His numbers didn't stop there. Against Oregon, he rushed for 100 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. Then against Colorado, he had 150 yards with a touchdown. Against Oregon in the Pac-12 title game, Thomas rushed for over 60 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. He then got a chance to face Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, rushing for 70 yards with a rushing touchdown. Tavion Thomas finished the season with over 1,100 rushing yards. He also broke the single-season Utah record with 21 rushing touchdowns. Remember, he did this with essentially playing 0 snaps over a 3-game stretch. I'm thankful just to have a roof over my head and a bed. I'm thankful just for a nice place to sleep, and I've got people here who really treat me well. I can be myself now. I'm not being judged. I know I made mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes, and I'm trying to work on them. Really, I feel pretty blessed right now. It's like a dream, but one I'm getting to enjoy every day. And I hope it keeps going because one day I want to be able to provide for my mom and my kids back in Ohio. I want to be able to lift them up to something better. Tavion Thomas is no longer parked in the dark in Dayton. He doesn't have to worry about where his next meal is going to come from or where he's going to be sleeping for the next week. I'm grateful just to have a bed. I don't care where I live, an apartment, wherever. I've got somewhere to lay my head. As long as I'm somewhere comfortable to lay my head and have my own space, I'm good with it. After a roller coaster journey, Thomas has found a home with Utah. He's emerged as one of the best running backs in not only the Pac-12, but the entire country as well. Before you leave, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, then this is definitely the place for you. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.